So welcome back, guys. This should probably be a fairly short video in comparison to the other ones, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into the woods and see if we can find us a lighted stump. Now, I've already got a couple of these in my junkyard here, but this is basically what we're going to be looking for. It's just just the center of an old pine tree, basically. People call them different things. We've always called them fat lightered. Some people call them fat lighter, fat wood, heart pine. There's probably a whole lot of different terms that people call them in different areas. Either way, it's really important for getting fire started in the winter. So this is what we're looking for here, and this is not the one I was thinking about, actually. This one is going to be a whole lot easier. It's a little bit smaller. I'm thinking we can get it out of the ground without too much trouble, and I should be able to lift it onto the four-wheeler without a whole lot of trouble either. So this one's going to be a lot better than the one I was thinking about. This is actually the one that I was thinking about. This one is about maybe 30 or 40 feet from that one, and it is still real solid in the ground. This was a very large pine tree at one time. So I mentioned this earlier, but all this is the center of a pine tree. It's the heart of the tree. It's where all the sap and pitch and turpentine, or whatever you want to call it, is kind of condensed in the center of the tree. This tree has been gone for 50 or 70 years, I would expect. And you can see this is still in really good shape. It's very rot resistant, but mainly what you want it for in the wintertime is for starting fires. And since it's so condensed, since that pine tar is so condensed in the middle, it makes it incredibly flammable and easy to start fires with. So let's see if we can get it out of the ground. This one I don't think is going to be too tough to get out. We'll just see how deep the taproot is. This one's kind of interesting because there's another very small one right beside it, and that one is actually much more solid than the big one. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought. And I want to encourage y'all, if you have any amount of land with pine trees on it, there's a good chance that you have these on your land. And if you're walking around and see them, take note of where they are, because these things can be really valuable. And by valuable, I don't necessarily mean money-wise, although it could save you money on kindling, but it's valuable because it's an incredibly good fire starter. I brought an axe because I really didn't know what I was up against. This one turned out to be really easy. I'm gonna go grab a chainsaw and try to cut it into sections. That stuff is so pitchy that it'll probably gum up the chain some, but I really need to get it cut up into shorter sections. See what's living in this thing. So as you can tell, this stuff is just absolutely murder on a bar and chain on a chainsaw, and that chain I don't think was particularly sharp in the first place. But this very last section, I'm going to try to cut it off right here, and it's got a lot of dirt in it. As you can see, that chain's already messed up, so it's okay. And I'm going to try to just kind of lop this last part off, and we should be done. And this is what we're left with. We've got 5 very nice solid sections of just good sticky fat lighter. Let's open them up and see what the insides look like. I think I'll get a heavier axe. So as you can probably tell, we're running out of daylight pretty rapidly. So I just want to show y'all how ridiculously flammable this stuff really is. What you would do is you would start off with a smaller piece like this, maybe even smaller if you can get it a little bit smaller. Maybe even a piece like this, because of course the smaller it is, the easier it's going to light initially. You'd light this and then go up to a few bigger pieces. So I just want to show y'all. Watch this, and this is some of the fattest fat lighter I have seen. It is very, very sticky. I wish y'all could smell it. It smells wonderful. But that's it. Very, very flammable. Now, of course, you'd put some of the larger pieces on top of this, and you'd have a fire. And you can actually see, I don't think this camera's really good enough for y'all to see, but there's pine tar just bubbling up out of this as it gets hotter and hotter. So just ridiculously flammable stuff. So this should do us for a while here. I'm sure this will probably make us through the year. If you order this stuff off of Amazon, if you order Fatwood Starter off of Amazon or go down to your hardware store and get it, this is what you're going to get. And I just looked it up, and it's about $25, $26 for 10 pounds of this stuff on Amazon. And let me tell you, 10 pounds is probably not a whole lot, because this stuff is very, 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 very heavy. And I guarantee you're not going to get this kind of quality off of Amazon. I'm very impressed with this stuff. You can see that. That is just, it's sticky for one thing, and I mean, it's just, there's just so much tar in there. So I know some of y'all are probably thinking, well, what about the creosote? Pine's really, really pitchy. It makes creosote in your chimney. It can't be a good thing. Well, that small amount is really not going to do a whole lot. If you burned pine or any kind of pitchy lumber, green lumber, that kind of stuff on a very regular basis, that's when you're going to get your creosote build up. Just using this stuff to start the fire, you'll be fine.